What up, Grappleheads? Welcome to Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast. Today is Rusev Day. Well, it hasn't been Rusev Day in a long time, but actually today is our first ever mini-sode, number 1. Today we talk about quick episode for you. NXT going up to the USA Network for 2 hours to compete with AEW? I think so. We also review Northeast Wrestling's Prison Break that we recently attended, which was an awesome show, and a quick segment on who is Jon Moxley. All that and more on Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, mini-sode 1. So first thing we want to talk about in today's mini-sode, Matt, is I think one of the most important things going on right now is WWE is obviously having to compete with AEW going on Wednesday nights. Well, as we know, that AEW announced that they'll be going live every Wednesday on the TNT network at 8 o'clock, which, as wrestling fans know, is another great product on at the same time, NXT. It's now being reported that NXT will be going live on the USA Network, and a formal announcement is coming very soon, as of maybe tomorrow night, as they say. I know that Fox Sports 1, FS1, if you want to call it that, is very upset about this because they were hoping to get the NXT tapings to go to their network. But now it seems as if NXT is going to be live the same time, 2 hours now, an extra hour added to NXT, the same time as AEW on the TNT network. And it's also being reported that Vince McMahon is going to have a very, very, very big hand in this, which, as we all know, it's kind of Triple H's baby and kind of a little gift to Triple H to see from Vince to see if he can actually run a promotion of, a big size. I mean, personally, I think this is, the word petty comes to mind. It's like, you know what, like, keep it on, I would love to just see it on the network and all that, but also at the same time the word petty comes up, it's also the word exciting, because it's like, oh, like, this is going to be kind of like reliving the Monday Night Wars in a weird way, and we didn't think we would actually, see, NXT on cable at all. So now that we have this, it's I don't know, a lot of mixed stuff comes to my mind about it, and quite honestly, I'm not sure if I'm excited for it, because as much as I should be, and we're going to get some great performances and matches out of this, you kind of have to be like, is Vince McMahon, who says they're not competition, they're just, they're whatever, it seems like after all these sellouts they've been having, he's just scared shitless, and he feels like he's got to do something because the fans are turning on him, and it's kind of true in a way. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, because when I finally got the full story about all the rumors about it today, it kind of blew my mind away, and quite honestly, I think this is like, we keep getting more talks of AEW versus WWE, and I think right now this is the biggest thing going on in that war, per se.
I don't know if I am excited or disappointed. I knew one thing.
Ooh, disappointed.
Well, yeah, because, the way I look at it is NXT being exclusive to the network is something I actually enjoy a lot. And I kind of wish that Raw sometimes was exclusive to the network. This way I don't have to have cable. I don't have to be bound by having USA or Fox or whatever to watch something. I already pay for the network to watch all the pay-per-views. But
yeah,
in a way, it's good for the wrestlers because now they're getting exposure on national television.
That is true, yeah. I also heard this, and this kind of relates to maybe not so much NXT going on USA, but another kind of thing I heard from Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio was they're kind of signing talents, like indie talents now, that WWE is. They're signing indie talents now that they're not even interested in, just to kind of make sure that AEW doesn't get them. So I guess this kind of goes hand in hand with the NXT going to the USA Network, because I don't know, man, like it's going to be good competition. But here's the thing, I would be so more stoked on it if I knew that Vince McMahon was not going to have a hand in it. Like they said, in this report, he's going to be very heavily involved because it's going to be on a network. And that, as we see from what he's doing with his other, main roster stuff on networks, it ain't working so well.
Well, maybe part of that announcement is him stepping down, which is the other rumor, is people think that he might be stepping down from his position and giving more authority to Triple H, which I don't believe.
Really? That's what people are saying?
That's one of the other ones. It's one of the other rumors that are coming up. But I don't necessarily believe that one, because I don't think that Triple H would want to. I don't think Vince McMahon would want to give away any of his power But then again,
I mean,
XFL is going to be coming into coming to life pretty soon next year. So maybe there will be a transition of authority of who has control of the creativity and things like that. But
yeah,
it's going to be tricky considering that we know that AEW is going to be TV 14 and they can be a little bit more edgy and attract more, young adult males like us. The primary,
that is true.
What is wrestling's primary demographic anyway? It's probably 18 to 30
I'd
something.
Say 18 to 30, 34
which
around
is what
there,
we fall into as 28 and 26. So
yeah, I feel like though, when you bring up the XFL thing, it is true that that's coming up soon, and maybe he might want to step down and give some power to Triple H, but. I mean, I don't think it would be any more power than Triple H already has, if you think about it, because I don't know. It's just one of the things where Vince is going to die in the chair, and that's just how it's going to go. But it just, I feel like he's just getting scared shitless now at this point with AEW, because you see a move like this, it's like, well, why not keep it on the network? Why not let it, and who knows, maybe they'll still have it on the network. I couldn't tell you. But it's kind of like keep it on the network, or something along those lines. But now it seems like they're getting really scared. And another report I'm hearing too is Vince McMahon wants to totally dismantle AEW. One of the big rumors is he's doing this because they want to, I don't want to use the word crush the competition, but they kind of want to delete them in a weird, not a Matt Hardy way, but they definitely want to just get rid of them as fast as possible. But I don't think that's going to happen. Because if a lot of things that Vince has been doing lately have just, in the words of HTRW podcast, not firing on any cylinders. I mean, he's had his moments here and there, and a lot of Triple H and everything he does in NXT has been 95% gold. But I don't know if we're gonna get. It's gonna be hard because it's like I don't want to be switching between channels and then not have NXT on the network to not watch after or something like that. That's why I think it would be better if it was kind of still in network.
Yeah, so that's one thing I was looking forward to the most, I think.
Yeah, then my whole thing would be like, okay, so I'll watch 2 hours of AEW, and then that's over, and then I'll just go on the network and watch the replay of NXT. But now it seems like we're not going to get that anymore. So, I mean, I don't know.
Have to use your DVR.
Yeah, that was another. That's not happening. I'll find a stream replay. I'm not buying a TiVo. It's 2019. But. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but I'm not as excited for it because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird gray area with me, I guess, in a weird way. But I mean, fuck it. You don't know. Maybe this could be a really good thing. Maybe this could be. It's so hard to say because we haven't seen anything like this in 20 plus years, and even I hardly remember that myself.
I guess it's just we have to wait and see what the actual announcement is.
That is true, yeah.
I'm also curious to see how the crowd would react to an announcement like that.
Yeah, that is true. All right, so moving on from that, we told everybody out there that we were going to be attending Northeast Wrestling's Prison Break in Poughkeepsie, New York. A phenomenal, phenomenal show. I can't speak highly enough about this promotion. I love them, and we finally went to their, kind of like their pay-per-view of the year, if you want to call it that. And we kind of want to just give our quick match reviews on this. First off, we walked in. This match started right away. We had Private Party and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, part of AEW's roster, versus Insanely Rejected, part of NEW's roster. This match, I think, was an awesome kind of, kickstart right away, the pay-per-view off. You had the elements of fun from Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. You had the high flyers of Insanely Rejected and Private Party. And I remember watching it, I was like, because I had seen Insanely Rejected and Private Party at another three-way tag match in Waterbury when Moxley debuted for NEW. And I thought, okay, these guys definitely have chemistry, but they had a lot of chemistry coming into this match. I mean, I know we were all having fun watching it. Matt, what was your thoughts on the match?
It was a really fun match. It's insanely rude, Alex.
Oh, Insanely Rude. I don't know why I keep saying Rejected. I don't know why. My apologies, boys.
Maybe they're going to adopt their new name from your mistake. Who knows?
I don't know why I keep... Oh, Insanely Rejected is like some meme account I follow. That's why I keep saying it. Oh, my God. I can't believe I said that.
But there's definitely a lot of cool spots that happen in this, and like little funny things that would occur. These guys I never heard of. I never really
Yeah.
seen Northeast Wrestling. Obviously, I know the other ones from AEW, but to see these guys do some pretty cool moves as well, and hopefully they continue to do great work and get bigger. Also, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, who knew that they would be such a good tag team together, and
Yeah.
that move that they pulled was insane.
Oh yes, I remember that one. Yeah, that was it was so fun to kind of actually see them in person too, because I had seen Private Party and Insanely Rude. Sorry, boys, I'm sorry. It's an honest mistake. It's been a long party weekend for me. But seeing Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy live, I mean, we had seen them on AEW specials and all that, but seeing them live, it was awesome to see them at these these two totally different kind of personality and movesets go not only so well with each other, but work so well with the other teams as well. I mean, I remember when Luchasaurus got tagged in for that match, it's like a huge pop because everyone was just waiting for him.
It is insane how a guy that big can move around the way he does too.
Yes, that is a genetic freak. That whole time I was watching, I was like, this guy's a fucking brick shit house, and he's moving like he's a cruiserweight. It was just awesome. I'm gonna kind of give this match. I'm gonna give this match a good. I'm gonna give it an 88 out of 100. I'm gonna give it a good B plus. It was just a nice, fun match. Great way to start it off. Get the crowd, kind of hot. Get them kind of feeling the whole, rest of the pay per view out. So I'm gonna give it an 88. Matt, what about you?
I give it an 85.
85. Still a good
solid B.
Yeah. I'm giving it an 88 a little bit more because just to see the growth of Insanely Rude. I mean, these guys. I mean, they were great the last time I saw them. But especially going into a pay per view, kind of like this, an internet pay per view, if you want to call it that. Seeing them go from the smaller kind of crowds to performing to this, I mean, it's got to be a big kind of like, oh shit moment. Like, this is a really big show, and this might be the match of our careers. I think they even tweeted that, and they just were cool, calm, collective, and they performed their asses off. So Insanely Rude, I gotta give my hats off to you guys. Just seeing you guys, these from the smaller crowds to the big crowds. I mean, overall, just awesome. So moving on to our next match, we have Penelope Ford versus Tasha Steelz. It was good to see Penelope Ford again, for sure, a part of the AEW's roster, I believe now. If I'm correct, I believe she was signed. And first time seeing Tasha Steelz as well. This was another good, solid match to keep the crowd invested in. Not so much of a cool-down match. This was more of a kind of spotlight on Penelope for sure, being part of the AEW roster. But I feel like this match was just fun. There wasn't a lot of memorable moments from this match that I can remember, but I just remember it not being bad one bit. I'm going to give this match a good solid 83. Not bad at all. Just kind of a cool match to kind of keep the crowd invested in. It's definitely cool to always see Penelope Ford and Tasha Steelz. I feel like at the same time, good performer, but I can kind of tell that I don't know if she's part of NEW's roster, if she's just a free independent agent or not, but quite honestly, I feel like she's going to grow a little bit as a performer, and the next time we see her, it might be something really, really special. Matt, any thoughts on the match or rating? I'm going to give this one a good solid 83.
I think I agree with that rating as well. Tasha Steelz just fought for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, she failed to obtain that. So it was really cool seeing her fight. I streamed that with Colin the other night. We watched that, and to see her in person was pretty cool too. To see somebody who was just at Toronto for Ring of Honor, and then actually see her live was pretty fun. And of course, Penelope Ford is amazing. So that's what I'm gonna say about that.
We all love her. So yeah, Matt and I are gonna give this a good solid 83. A good solid match, good B match. Awesome to see. Next up was the match that I did not see, and Colin, who is not with us tonight because he's having fun times at work. A match that I did not see, unfortunately, I was at in the booth somewhere. Definitely was not the beer line. I would never drink a sip of alcohol in my life, of course, God forbid. But we had Wrecking Ball versus, who was the other person, Matt? I know you were there for this match, and you have the full match card in front of you.
Mike Verna.
Mike Werner, okay. Any good thoughts on this match? I mean, definitely, I know Wrecking Ball is kind of a staple in Northeast wrestling. Always, crowd always loves him, always gets him going, popping and stuff. Any memorable things from this match, and you want to give it your rating as well?
I mean, it wasn't anything too crazy. Wrecking Ball is obviously a beast, and the guy is just ginormous. Where it's almost unbelievable if anybody can actually beat him because he's so big, which is the case that happened here. Mike Verna lost, even though he fought really hard, and Mike Verna was able to actually pick him up and get a good, couple good hits on him and everything like that. But
yeah. Was it kind of a squash match in a way, or no? Was it kind of like 50-50?
Not really, because it was a relatively lengthy match. It wasn't over in 3 minutes or or less or anything like that. So I thought it was going to be a squash match. It ended up being kind of just like a regular bout, which was interesting. But I would give it pretty much an 80 overall.
Yeah, 80. Okay. That's always a good one. Matt, would you want to introduce the next match? I know we had Big Cass, and then I unfortunately was kind of in the middle of something while this match was going on. I do remember it and do have a rating for it, but I forgot the other performer's name if you wouldn't mind sharing that info real quick.
That was Thrill Ride.
Thrill Ride. I think I've seen Thrill Ride before at the Waterbury show that I went to for NEW, but I just didn't remember his name. I remember when Cass and Enzo, or Real One if you want to call him that, were announced for this show. I was kind of like, oh man, it's gonna be kind of weird to see. I don't know why I had a weird feeling about it. And then Cass comes out, and first of all, I mean, I had seen his videos do it with the whole DDP yoga thing and how he's quit drinking and all that, and he's changing his life around, power of positivity. And we all saw like the infamous photos of him, very bloated, drinking every day, kind of at these small indie shows. And then he came out at this show. This guy was fucking ripped, dude. He was shredded. He shed all that weight and has been doing great. And it was so cool to see him perform. It was a little weird to see him perform in jeans and Timberland boots, which I thought I was like, that's pretty New York right there, my guy. But
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. If you guys are from Long Island, I don't know. From Connecticut, that's the whole like, oh, that guy's wearing. We call it the New York uniform when someone's got big baggy jeans on, Timberlands. But honestly, I was interesting to see this match because we had run-ins from Thrill Ride's manager, which were awesome, fun spots to do as well. It was good to see Cass perform. I'd never seen him perform live as well. I'm gonna give this match. I'm gonna give it a good 83. I think it was really fun to watch. Definitely wasn't any memorable spots that I remember. The run-ins were pretty cool. The chokeslam on the manager was cool. But I think it was just a fun match to watch and kind of sit down and enjoy what I was having my beer with that. Your thoughts, Matt?
I'd give it like a 86. I thought 86? It was
fun. Ooh, going a little bit higher than myself. Well, yeah, I definitely think, like I said, dude, seeing him in person, like that fucking shredded, I was like, holy shit. Because even on TV, I'd never seen anything like that with with him. So it was always a fun match. So.
Yeah, Kaz XL looks good right now, and I'm glad that he is recovering from whatever happened in the past, and this little bout with Thrill Ride, Absolute Savage also is what he's known as. I thought it was really fun. Savage. When they came out, like the whole match, it had like an iconic kind of like classic wrestling style to it. Because it did. The manager, I believe his name is Jared Silvercleat. He's just throwing money. He can hire people, and Absolute Savage, Thrill Ride, or whatever you want to call him, is his guy that's going to protect him because he has the money to pay for him. And they just did really good promo work too, which I thought was fantastic and kind of old school.
Yeah, it was kind of
that's why
that
I was
old
invested
school,
in
like,
it a lot.
Yeah, it definitely had like that kind of late 80s like had that kind of like late 80s like Ted DiBiase kind of feel. It was just awesome to see. I'm gonna give this a good. I know you're going 86. I'm gonna give it 83. So I think we can both agree in the middle of it. Just a good solid B match, a lot of fun to watch and everything. Matt, would you like to introduce the next match to us? We had a tag match for the NEW World Tag Team titles.
Yeah, so this was Jerry Lawler, no other than the King, and Keith Youngblood.
Our boy Youngblood, yes.
Defeated King Brian and David Arquette. And obviously the whole King thing was like a big deal in the whole big portion of this match, as well as a little feud between Jerry Lawler and David Arquette talking trash to each other online, social media, whatever.
It was so funny watching this. I enjoyed the living shit out of this match. It was just awesome and had such fun spots. I remember at one point we're sitting there, like we all had a big smile on our face, like, wow, this is wild. But it was when Arquette came out for his entrance and he's on the turnbuckle kind of showing off to the crowd. I'll never forget this, just hearing Colin sit next to us like, it's 2019. I'm fucking seeing David Arquette in a wrestling ring right now. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And then I kind of was skeptical about, I had seen like videos of David Arquette wrestling on the internet, like YouTube and all that stuff, but I had, and most of the moments that I saw was kind of him taking bumps and people just beating the shit out of him. This guy can actually perform. Like he's actually getting really good at what he does. And I remember after the match, he made an announcement of like, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this, but this is so much fun. And thank you guys so much. And to see a guy who's in his, probably late 40s, maybe around, at least in his 40s for sure, taking bumps like that and still building his moveset was awesome. Yeah, this match was just overall awesome to watch. I mean, I love Keith Youngblood. He's just awesome to see. I know that Lawler only had one spot and the one bump in the whole match, and it was, I believe it was like how they got the pinfall. So that we kind of all knew that like it was gonna go that way in a weird route because he's obviously the oldest out of all the bunch. But it was just fun. It was just I don't know. It was that weird mixed tag team element that just worked so well, and it was just awesome to watch, and especially seeing David Arquette, I was so stoked to see. I was like, I gotta watch what this guy can do. And overall, I'm gonna go with this match with a good 88 to 89. I'm gonna go 89 for sure. And then the ending was just awesome. Matt, your thoughts on this?
I'm not going to disagree with your rating, but my biggest thought is the guys who were sitting behind us, specifically one person. When David Arquette was wrestling, he was chanting, "You can't wrestle."
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
To actually hear someone chant that live was extremely frustrating, and I was fucking livid.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, I was like, dude, like, you're not the one in that fucking ring right now. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. Right? You're not the one who's given up a portion of your acting career, portion of your life to go train professional wrestling, to go do jiu-jitsu and learn these different types of moves and get into a ring and travel across the world, travel across the country and participate in these independent shows. You're not even on a big promotion. You're just on Northeast Wrestling, which is on the smaller end, just local to here in the Northeast. And
yeah,
for someone to like turn around and just be like, "You can't wrestle," like, all right, bro, why don't you go in the fucking ring? Why don't you take the mic? Why don't you get on the mic and talk and try to make everybody happy? Like, his job, what he's doing right now is to please the crowd. Like he said, he's having fun doing this, and I appreciate the work that he's doing.
Absolutely,
someone who definitely played a huge part in that WCW fall, them handing him that World Heavyweight Championship was pretty much a disgrace to that title.
Yeah.
And he understands that as an individual. He understands that as a wrestling fan. He knows that was probably not the best move. But he was just a fan at the time, and he was having fun at that time. But now he's kind of living out a portion of his dream just at a later time of his life, and he has the money to do some of this funding, and he's met a lot of good people that are willing to face him in matches like Jerry Lawler. I think to sit there and chant "You can't wrestle" at him, just don't. And
well, I remember when it happened, like as soon as that happened, he was like, "You can't wrestle," and there's people laughing, and all of a sudden I could just hear Colin go, "You fucking kidding me?" Like Colin said out loud, he was like, "Yo, that like." Colin's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He's like, "That guy doesn't have the fucking," talking about the guy chanting that. He was like, "That guy doesn't have the fucking balls to even go in that ring and take one bump, I bet." And you're going to fucking say that to somebody else who's like working their ass off for people who paid to see you. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, shut your fucking mouth and just fuck off. If you're listening to this podcast and this is this guy, go fuck yourself. I don't care what you say about us. You're a fucking asshole because there's I don't get why people do that chant. I mean, I'll admit when I was younger, I did those chants at live shows and stuff, but I was a fucking kid, But as you go and learn more about this industry, because as we get older, we love this industry and we want to learn more about it. And you see how much dedication it takes for these performers, and even not even just the regular performers at the same time. You have like these celebrities that come in and try to do spots and stuff, and they have to train to do this and put their body in the line, because at the end of the day, they are still putting their body in the line. And even David Arquette's going that extra miles, to go around the country and do this. And you're going to chant like something a 12-year-old would say, and you're probably some fucking 25-year-old, 30-year-old fucking douchebag. If you're listening to this, go fuck yourself. I have no remorse saying that. We got to talk about the ending of the match, the spot where King Brian turns on David Arquette and is beating him up in the ring, and Lawler comes down to the ring to kind of save Arquette, if you want to call it. And King Brian showing off to the crowd, turns around. Jerry Lawler just double flips him the birds and gives him a fucking stone cold stunner. And the pop for that was so loud. We were like, holy shit. And King Brian stands back up, and we got David Arquette with the diamond cutter.
That was pretty fun.
That was just all I could hear when he did that diamond cutter in my head was just going back to Ready to Rumble. He's like, diamond upside down is a pussy. So overall, I'm going to give this match, I'm going to give it a good 89 for sure. It was just so fun to watch. Definitely was not, a 5-star classic by any mean, but as far as a fun match to keep the crowd invested with fun spots and great performers, and I don't know, an 89 feels really good to give it a good solid number for that, and that's what I'm going to go with. How about you, Matt?
Yep, I'm not going to disagree.
All right, awesome. Well, moving on to our next match. Oh boy, this was a fucking weird one. We had Brian Pillman Jr. versus, Enzo. Now, I was very excited to see this because, the crowd was mixed about it, because even when they were showing the video package before the match, it was Enzo Amore cutting a promo or whatever on his first match back in the past 2 years. And there was already chants going on of like, we want Enzo, no we don't. We want Enzo, no we don't. And it was just, you could tell right away, like there was even rumblings around people all throughout the whole day about, is people going to boo Enzo, or people going to tell him to, all that shit. I mean, I remember Colin and I were at a Millhouse Brewing house. By the way, I'm plugging them right now. Those buffalo wings were the first buffalo wings I've had in 8 years. Awesome. There was even people talking about it while we were sitting down having a beer, like, oh, people going to boo Enzo tonight or whatever. So Brian Pillman Jr. comes out, of course, the son of one of the greatest performers of all time, one of the most underrated as well. Gets the crowd going. Everyone's all happy to see him. And then Enzo comes out to no music. I don't know if he was going for a Ciampa kind of vibe or something. And just, I don't know, man. It was weird. Like, he had like this kind of new attire on. There's no music that he comes out to. So he's getting mixed reactions all across the board. I think it was more in the majority of like, what the fuck is going on right now? And it was, I don't know, man. This match was just, well, I'm glad I did get at least one. I screamed Joey Janelle at least once. That's all I wanted to do during this match. But it was just weird because the match seemed like, and I timed it as well, it was about 31 minutes. It just seemed like a big Enzo offense of just spots of him just beating the shit out of Pillman. And I get you want to have those type of matches sometimes, but to go that long, I think you can you might agree with me on this. Like, this was just like very boring to watch when it was about halfway through.
Yeah, it was kind of like I didn't understand why it was so long, but also it was really awkward because it was almost like Enzo didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And even after he won, all he did was he just rolled out of the ring and just walked straight out and just left.
There wasn't even like any
really awkward.
Yeah, there wasn't even any celebration or anything. It was, he got the pin, and I like, to everyone listening to this who didn't see the pay-per-view, he was in the back within not even 10 seconds. It might have been less than 10 seconds, and he was already in the back. And then it was the lights went off, and then just on to the next one. And it was so weird to see because not only was there was cool spots and everything in it, but there was just something weird about it. It just didn't feel like a fun match to watch. It pretty much was just like, we're going to put Enzo over on everything. And I think Pillman might have had out of the 31 minutes, maybe collectively like 4 minutes of him getting the offense. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we saw a shoot at the end of that or what, but it did seem like he didn't even want to be there in the first place. I'm going to give this match I honestly got to go with a 75. It just dragged out way, way too long.
I concur.
Yeah, if this match was about 10 minutes shorter, I would have been like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I get it. But then to drag it out that long, it was like, what the fuck? Like, we want the next match. So before we go into the next match, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break this up and do another episode. We will continue the review. Do not worry. We're going to do a little new segment that we did last time and kind of break it up right here. So we're going to do this week on Who Is. It is going to be Jon Moxley. Yes, Jon Moxley, of course, in the main event at NEW's Prison Break versus Pentagon Jr., which, oh boy, we'll get to. We will get to that. I got a high score for that motherfucker. So, for this week on Who Is, I present to you Jon Moxley. Jonathan David Good was born in Cincinnati, Ohio on December 7th, 1985. He was an avid wrestling fan when he grew up and used wrestling to escape a challenging childhood. He started training while he was in high school, and about a year after training, he decided that this was all for him, all he wanted, and dropped right out of school. He began training professionally while working for the Heartland Wrestling Association, otherwise known as the HWA promotion, at the age of 18. While training there, this is where he assumed the persona Jon Moxley. He made his official in-ring debut in 2004, which followed a successful tenure in the promotion. Moxley's accolades throughout his time in HWA included the Tag Team Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship as well. Moxley would show up occasionally in WWE's smaller shows, Heat and Velocity, during his early years. We all know the infamous picture of him with the pink hair. I think that's always been going around the internet. He worked for several promotions during the first decade of the 2000s, such as the International Wrestling Association, Ring of Honor, Dragon Gate USA, Full Impact Pros, and most notoriously, Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW. During these years, Moxley developed his hardcore reputation and became recognized for his association in death matches. In 2011, he signed with WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling, otherwise known as FCW. With the signing came a new name from 2011 until 2019. He took on the persona Dean Ambrose, aka the Lunatic Fringe. He remained in developmental for about a year where he faced many contenders, namely the following: Seth Rollins, William Regal, Roman Lakey, otherwise known as Roman Reigns, Xavier Woods, and even at one point, challenging CM Punk. Dean Ambrose was called up to the main roster in November 2012, with two of his friends from developmental days, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Together, the trio formed the alliance known as The Shield and would make a very, very big impact. They made their impact in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship between CM Punk, John Cena, and Ryback. Their involvement ultimately led to CM Punk becoming victorious in the bout and, well, getting the championship. It was unclear for the first couple of months what their intentions were and what side they were actually truly on. We eventually learned down the road that Paul Heyman was quote-unquote paying The Shield to work for him and CM Punk all along. The Shield was a force to be reckoned with, though. The trio was unbeaten until May 2013, where they first lost in a disqualification. Up until that time, they defeated the likes of Daniel Bryan, Kane, Ryback, John Cena, Sheamus, and of course the dead man, The Undertaker. Ambrose would be very successful, however, throughout his time within the Shield. He won the United States Championship by defeating Kofi Kingston in a match at Extreme Rules. He retained the title in matches against Kane, Rob Van Dam, Dolph Ziggler, and Big E. Ambrose continued to hold on to the championship and became the longest reigning United States champion in WWE at the time. The Shield split when Seth Rollins turned on his brethren in June of 2014, which led to Dean and Seth entangled in a feud. Ambrose had various feuds throughout 2014 and 2015 as well. In December 2015, Ambrose won the Intercontinental Championship where he defeated Kevin Owens at TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. His reign was short, and he lost his title in a 5-way match where Kevin Owens actually pinned Tyler Breeze. Ambrose continued into 2016 by starting several feuds after this, challenging Brock Lesnar, a great match with Triple H at Fastlane, and of course the GOAT of all time, baby, Chris Jericho. Dean eventually earned a spot in the Money in the Bank match, which ultimately he won. Ambrose did not waste any time after winning his briefcase and cashed in on none other than Seth Rollins. He would lose that title, however, in September at Backlash to AJ Styles, where he was unsuccessful in regaining it a month later at No Mercy. At the beginning of 2017, Dean won the Intercontinental Championship for the second time as well. He successfully retained this against Baron Corbin at WrestleMania that year, but lost the championship to The Miz at Extreme Rules later in June. Ambrose would not be without a championship for long, however, as he and Seth Rollins reconciled their old tag team and won the Raw Tag Team titles from the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. This win, okay, here we go. This win made Ambrose a Triple Crown and Grand Slam champion. The Shield officially reunited, however, in October 9th, 2017, when Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins came to the aid of Roman Reigns in a fight against The Miz, The Bar, and Curtis Axel. Eventually, Ambrose and Rollins dropped the Tag Team Championship to The Bar in November, and in December, Dean suffered a tricep injury, leaving him unable to compete for 9 months. He returned, however, in August of He returned on August. Fucking A. Thank God we have editing tools. He returned on August 13th, 2018. Fucking A. He returned on August 13th, 2018, when he assisted Seth Rollins after Seth was attacked by Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. He came to the aid of Rollins again 6 days later, allowing Seth to acquire the Intercontinental Championship. The next night on Raw, Braun Strowman attempted to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase for a match versus Roman Reigns, who had just won a hard-fought match against Finn Balor. The cash-in halted when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose came out and interfered in the attempt, ultimately putting Braun through the announce table with his signature triple powerbomb. Ambrose and Rollins later regained the Raw Tag Team Championship, overcoming Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. The celebration did not last long, though, as Dean assaulted Seth right after the match. Matt, I believe you were there at the Providence show when that happened, correct?
That is correct. And that was pretty interesting. It was a really weird show. Roman Reigns coming out in the beginning. He cuts that promo. He says, "My name is Joe. I have leukemia." It was really awkward because the crowd was chanting "Roman sucks." And then all of a sudden he drops that bomb on us. And we're like, oh, my God. Yeah. I guess we have to cheer you now. And then obviously Seth Rollins came out and Dean Ambrose came out after that, and they were, hugging him at the ramp, and it was really emotional. So to choose that night to have Dean Ambrose turn on Seth Rollins was pretty unique.
Yeah.
Especially because they just won the title, which was confusing.
I remember watching that live, and when the turn happened, I was in complete and utter shock. So it was definitely... I know the internet was giving WWE a little bit of heat on it, but I was like, God damn, like that's just perfect. Like that's how you do a heel turn. You got to get the raw emotions of the aspect of emotions. It's like one aspect we're all sad that Roman's battling this terrible disease, then the other emotion is just shock. And to bring those two together, it was just an awesome turn. 2 weeks later, Dean dropped the titles to AOP in a handicap match and viciously attacked Rollins after. He began stalking Seth backstage, perceived him as a quote-unquote illness as well. He even got vaccinated because of this. In a lackluster match, Ambrose won the Intercontinental Championship from Rollins. I remember that match specifically, and yes, very lackluster to be honest. Dean had a long-standing frustration with the creative control of his character and a distinct distaste of the hokey material that was written for him. He informed WWE officials that he would not be renewing his contract and would be leaving after WrestleMania. This also became a real-life shoot angle that WWE was promoting. Before his departure, he reunited with The Shield one last time to face Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. His final appearance would be The Shield's final chapter on April 21st on the WWE Network, where he, Reigns, and Rollins defeated the team of Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre. It was later revealed in a shoot interview, however, on Talk is Jericho that Ambrose was only paid $500 for this match. He would also talk about how frustrating the creative process was on this interview and how he was disgusted at an angle pitched at him to get cheap heat from the crowd, mocking his friend Roman Reigns' real-life battle with leukemia. On May 1st, he posted a cryptic video on Twitter which teased the return of Jon Moxley as soon as the clock struck midnight and his contract expired. After Chris Jericho defeated Kenny Omega with a devastating Judas effect at AEW's Double or Nothing on May 25th, Moxley emerged from the crowd with shades of the Shield, maybe mocking them in a way, poetry in motion, who knows. He entered the ring and struck Jericho, Omega, and even the referee included. In June at Fyter Fest, Moxley faced Joey Janela in a non-sanctioned match that headlined the entire event as well. Soon after Moxley won the match, Kenny Omega ran down and attacked him in retaliation for the assault he suffered at Double or Nothing. Jon Moxley would also appear in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he challenged Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States Championship. Moxley won the in-ring debut and obtained the title on June 5th in a gruesome, bloody match. I suggest everyone go look at it, and especially that biting spot. Jesus Christ, that hurt. Jon Moxley also participated in the G1 Climax, but failed to advance to the finals of the tournament. However, his run of the G1 will live famously through his 5-star classics he had while trying to climb the ladder. Moxley will now appear in New Japan and various promotions until AEW's TV deal on TNT officially starts on October 2nd, including the most recent Northeast Wrestling's Prison Break. Oh, we will get to that match, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it was just awesome, awesome, awesome. Continuing on with our review of Northeast Wrestling's Prison Break, we had Hale Collins versus Darby Allin in a no disqualification match for the Northeast Wrestling Championship. I love this match a lot. I mean, anytime you get Darby Allin in, this is my second time seeing him live, you're going to get some awesome, awesome spots. And I was glad they made this a no DQ match when they announced it on Facebook. And then Darby Allin comes out first, and he's kind of doing his usual thing, like, kind of sitting on the ropes and everything. And Hale Collins comes down the ramp, and he doesn't even get in the ring, and Darby Allin just darts through those ropes. I mean, Matt, I think you can agree with me on that. That's just an awesome way to get not only the crowd excited to see you, but you're going to be in something special for the match.
It was like a very heel move by Darby Allin. The match was surprisingly kind of short, but very gruesome. Ladders involved, tables involved, chair shots involved. I mean, with just no disqualification match, I guess. I don't even know if it was a no disqualification match. I think they just did a lot of stuff before the bell even rang.
Yeah.
They finally got in the ring, and then the match started. But I like the intensity of it, and I thought that was fun. They threw each other into the barricade, which was pretty funny, and it literally bounced into people.
Yeah,
which I
remember
thought
that.
was pretty interesting.
I remember when that happened, I just heard you next to me holy shit, look at over there, dude. And it's just people are standing up whoa, shit. I remember also at the same time that the spot of the night for me, it's funny because both of these guys went through tables because the guy moving out of the way. I mean, at one point I know it was Darby Allin had set up the table kind of on the two sides of the barrier and then put Hale Collins on it and just went for that, that backdrop and just missed, and Hale Collins just moved out, and it was just Darby taking that huge bump. But the biggest bump of the night for me, or spot if you want to call it, was Hale Collins going on a 12-foot ladder with Darby Allin on a table below, and he goes to do a dropped elbow on him, and Darby Allin just gets right out of the way. And I watched, we were sitting on, the bleachers, which is the opposite side of where that was. It was on the opposite side of the ring. And I saw the video footage back, and dude, I don't know if you've seen it, but that table just breaks into pieces and flies on all sides. That was a huge bump from the take, and especially seeing Hale Collins.
He dislocated his hip, I believe.
Oh, he did?
That really sucks, yeah.
Oh, wow, that does suck. Well, get well soon if that is true. My good God. It was also really good seeing Hale Collins again. I'm a huge Hale Collins fan. I mean, his promo even for this match to hype it up was just great, just awesome. For this match, like you said, it was pretty short, which kind of sucked. We kind of wish it went a little bit longer. But I kind of feel like with that whole Enzo match going 31 minutes, they kind of had to maybe tell these guys hey, you got to cut it short a little bit. Just go for all the spots right away. I think that was kind of what was happening. For this rating for this match, though, I'm gonna give it a good 91. I thought it was just really, really awesome to see. I'm a huge Darby Allin mark, so I'm going to give it a good 91. And seeing Hale Collins again, and Hale, awesome performance, man. I know he follows us on Twitter and kind of chats with us once in a while. I'm going to go 91. Matt, your thoughts are looking a little bit like you kind of want to disagree with me on it?
I'm going to go 90.
Good 90? Okay. I think I'm going to just give it that extra point just because, these bumps these guys were taking, even I was
also,
holy shit.
We got to talk about what happened after the match.
Oh, God, yeah.
You had the best view of it because me and Colin were trying to tweet stuff, and then we turned around.
I didn't even see it. It was Colin who saw it.
Oh, Colin saw it.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you and I were tweeting stuff because we were updating everyone on Twitter that we were going to be live tweeting from it and reviewing it. And all of a sudden I just hear Colin go, holy fucking shit, and he points over. And apparently what happened was there was a fan who, before, and to give this some backstory, we all know that Darby Allin, or if you don't know, you know now, straight edge, no drugs, no drinking. He's very anti-substances. This guy in the crowd, as Darby Allin's going around the ring to maybe, give some high fives or just even, exit to go to the back, takes a full beer and just pegs him in the head with it. Now, most promotions are going to tell you, let security handle it. And Darby Allin ain't from that kind of school. He's from a whole different other school. And Darby Allin fucking hops the barrier and just goes straight after this guy. And it was just fuck. Because I remember I did not see the beer get pegged at him. I just heard Colin go, holy shit. I look up and next thing you know, I just see this skinny white dude hopping the barrier just going after this big motherfucker like with his fist cocked. And I was like, holy shit. I mean, dude, what do you think, Matt? I know security ran down as soon as Darby Allin was kind of nose to nose with him. I think you'll agree with me on this. That Darby was going to fuck that guy up.
And he was pissed, and he had every right to be pissed. And it wasn't even like, look, back in the day, you know, when Hulk Hogan became heel and he joined the Outsiders and they formed the NWO at Bash at the Beach or whatever, and people were throwing garbage into the ring, like, that was a different time.
I think they also
circumstance. This was a guy who just won the match, walking around the barricade, maybe giving a couple high fives, and you fucking peg him for no reason. Yeah, with a beer.
And I don't even know. I don't even know why this guy did it. I don't think there's any context. Of like maybe he's like, I don't know. Maybe he's like the biggest Hale Collins fan in the world. I mean, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I mean, we have a guy yelling, David Arquette can't wrestle. He can go fuck himself. I hope you're listening to this. You're fucking stupid fuck. And this guy as well, you're a stupid fuck as well. Because, and let me tell you, it's funny because this guy was probably expecting, like, oh, I'm going to peg him with the beer and yell some shit to him and it's going to be funny. Yeah, Darby Allin's only, I think they advertised him as like $170, dude. He's only like 170 pounds. And this guy this guy that pegged him with the beer, this big fat guy, he's probably like 250, 280 range. So he's got 100 pounds on Darby Allin. And Darby Allin's like, you want to shoot, cowboy? Like, we'll fucking shoot right now. And he just went after him. And I remember they're taking, what were they saying when they were kicking the guy out? They were like, fuck that. I think it was fuck that guy. They were like, fuck that guy or something like that.
Oh, yeah. New York crowd did not hold back their chance at all.
Yeah, I it's funny because I've been to shows in Connecticut and some shows in Rhode Island, but man, you New Yorkers like ruthless because there was people yelling shit out the entire. Like I got the Joey Janela, I yelled out Joey Janela like when Enzo was in the rings. I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. But you New York guys, like I don't want to use the word savage, but dude, I was having so much fun because I was like, these people have no fucking filter and they're just going all at it. Like,
just wait until MSG.
That's the thing is because we're, as you guys know out there, we actually are going to the first Raw at MSG in like 10 years, I think it is. And now that you mentioned that gets me a little bit more fucking excited too. So going on to the next match. Now this match was advertised as JT Dunn versus Ray Phoenix. Now for whatever reason, due to unforeseen circumstances or travel, circumstances, Ray Phoenix could not actually make the match. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, well, who are they going to have a replacement? Are they even going to have a replacement? I know JT Dunn's kind of a really big stable. If not, he's kind of the face a little bit of NEW. So that was kind of like, oh, what's going to happen here? And JT Dunn comes out. Well, actually, before this happened, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest pop of the night was not for it. Maybe Moxley Pentagon, but the biggest pop of the night and the most over performer of the night was not even a performer. It was the ring crew guy who was sweeping the ring after the Darby Allin match. You want to talk about how hot a crowd can get and get chants going? This was the greatest thing I had ever fucking seen at a wrestling show that was not wrestling related.
It was so funny.
Like the guy's sweeping and people are popping like it's like Stone Cold just walked out or something, and they're going sweep, sweep, sweep. I think what was another like Holy Sweep was the one.
Holy sweep forever. Sweep forever.
Sweep forever. There's two sweep. There whoop whoop two sweep. I wanted to get you sweep fuck going, but I didn't think anyone would like. There was like a little kid behind us who was like 4 years, not even. It was like 2 years old. I was like, nah.
Adorable little girl, by the way. We'll get to that in a second.
Yes, because it goes hand in hand with this. So JT Dunn comes out. I don't know, man. I don't mean to keep going on, but that was just the greatest thing. Just fucking sweep forever. So then what happens is JT Dunn comes out and goes, Ray Phoenix couldn't make it. I know, by the way, he pulls the sweeping guy, the broom guy, into the ring and fucking makes him take a bump, which I thought was pretty funny to get. That's not even cheap heat. That's grade A heat right there. So then, JT Dunn's talking about like how Ray Phoenix isn't here and he's sitting on his couch in Mexico and declare me the winner right now. Then he threatens to beat up the ring announcer, and all of a sudden this music starts playing and I look at it and I'm like, holy shit, is that who I think it is? So I kind of start popping right away, breaking his contract, given permission from Ring of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Taven shows up to defend the Ring of Honor World Championship against JT Dunn. This was so fucking awesome to see because, and you know what, as much as I love Rey Fenix, this was such an awesome surprise. And to see him, not only because, you know, Ring of Honor gave him full permission to break his contract, but not only that, Matt, I mean, we got to see the ROH title defended at the same time in another promotion. I mean, that usually doesn't happen unless it's, you know, New Japan or something. This match, I thought, though, quite honestly, I had my first time seeing Matt Taven, was a lot of fun. I mean, I remember the spots were great. It was really good technical wrestling too. You had the crowd. There was members of the crowd in the front row. I mean, my computer's paused right now, and of Matt Taven kind of going up on the crowd, like, yeah, like I'm here and everything. And there's like two guys like just fucking giving him the finger, like nose to nose. But honestly, like Matt, what was your reaction to Taven coming out? Because I know you, I guess, had just recently watched that Ring of Honor special, so you must have been like, holy shit, like he's here.
Yeah, and I think that it was awesome. You know, he's notoriously a heel, right? People were pissed when he won at MSG and he won the Ring of Honor Championship. Like, they were mad. God.
They were
He's just a really good heel, though. But when you have a wrestler like that who shows up at an independent show in Poughkeepsie, New York for one night just to defend the title and make people happy, and that's what was dope. And I mean, that was pretty sick. And I mean, I was excited. They utilized the crowd. You know, he threw them into individuals in the crowd. They held them while he gave them a chop to the body, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a one-way match, right? Taven wasn't dominating the entire time, which is, I thought was a really good thing too. So they made, you know, it was. They were
definitely giving JT Dunn a good offense at the same time. But it was a good 50-50 bout, and we all kind of knew who was going to win and go over at the match, obviously. But at the end of the match, of course,
there was some close kickouts too.
Yes, there was
from Taven.
Yes, I remember at one point we were like, "Holy shit!" Like that was. I remember at one point Colin was like, "Is that a 3? Was that a fucking 3 count?" Because it was so close.
Yeah, and this little girl, sitting behind us.
Oh yes.
Her parents brought her to the show.
Must have been only 2 years old, if anything.
Yeah, she must have been like 3 or something.
Toddler, we'll say toddler.
She's a toddler. She is the biggest Matt Taven fan.
Yeah.
Ever.
Literally
ever.
Throughout the entire match, just constantly going, "Let's go Taven, let's go Taven, let's go Taven."
Yeah, and when he was losing, she was like, "Get up, Matt Taven. Get up, Matt Taven."
Yeah, no, it was all you heard in our section of the bleachers was just this adorable little toddler, like just marking out hard for Matt Taven. Of course, at the end of the match, Taven gets the pinfall, my apologies, and then cuts an emotional promo. I mean, I had not even known that he was in NEW, but apparently 8 years ago, he started in NEW and won the NEW championship at the same time. And he cut this promo, and he was talking about, like, this is where I started. Like, I can't believe I'm back here. I want to thank, you know, Ring of Honor for letting me break my contract to come here and defend this title as a favor. And it was just, I don't know, it was such a cool kind of like what's going to happen kind of thing. And then, you know, he comes out and no one was expecting that. That was the last thing we were expecting. I'm going to go with this match. I'm going to give it match wise. If we're going to talk about overall, I'm going to go 90. I'll go 90 on that.
That's what I was going for too.
Yeah, it was just awesome to see. So then, of course, we come to the main event, which everyone's the dream, like, so stoked for. The dream match that we thought we'd never see. We have Pentagon Jr. versus Jon Moxley. This match, holy shit. I mean, I'm going through some highlights right now. I mean, it starts off with Pentagon telling the whole crowd to be, she's like, yeah, we go, shh, be quiet, and just yells, and you could hear him like he was next to you, just go, listen, motherfucker, and it was just like, oh, shit, because, you know, NEW is notorious for being a family-friendly promotion, and then Moxley comes back, and I'm like, listen, motherfucker, and he just goes, fuck you, and everyone's just like, you know, it was that cool indie vibe of heel versus heel, just going back and forth with each other. I mean, Matt, going into this match, you must have been super excited. I mean, I know we've been keeping up with AEW a lot, and this was, I believe, was this your first time seeing Penta as well?
this is my first time seeing Penta, and a couple times I've seen, Moxley / Ambrose. I've seen Ambrose back in FCW, in WWE a couple times, and now here again. See him in a different persona was definitely, it was like seeing a brand new individual, seeing him for the first time almost, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then we had some awesome spots on the outside. I mean, I must have been a no DQ match or referee's discretion, but we got them going through tables on the barrier, just on the outside doing spots. Really good high flying stuff from Penta. But then I think like the main course of the entire match, and most of the match was actually fought this way, was they went right up into the bleacher section. There were spots where Penta's he takes someone's full beer, throws it right at Moxley's head. He puts a guy's hat on and then super kicks Moxley. And then at one point, I remember they're going through the crowd and stuff, and we're like, oh shit, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden, a fan there must have had a luchador mask. And all of a sudden, you're like, is he wearing a mask? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I peek up because I'm shorter than you. I stand up on my seat and I just see Moxley's wearing a luchador mask.
He wore for like a good 5 minutes too, which is funny.
Yeah, I think when he got back in the ring, when they eventually got back to the ring, that's when he eventually took it off. I mean, we had spots on the merge tables, which I kind of felt bad for that merge table. I remember, I think it was you or Colin was like, there goes that merge table. Like, it was just so good. And then
zero fucks given.
Of course, they get back into the ring. They're doing their technical spots, and there was actually some really close pinfalls here. I mean, for a while, I thought Penta was actually going to take the win, to be quite honest. So then it kind of comes down to the final the final spot, which had everybody in shock, just very, very in shock. I mean, we see Penta try to go for a kick. Moxley blocks the kick. Then Moxley goes for a kick. Penta blocks that and goes, not today, motherfucker, something along those lines. John Moxley takes Penta's mask right off of his face and unmasks him into his finisher. I mean, when I saw that, Matt, you got to tell me your reaction, what you were thinking, because the only thing I could think of was, holy fucking shit.
Sometimes really dislike when people do that because it's such a heel move to do, but it's hard to get mad at John Moxley because you're a fan of him and you're like, oh, I want to see. You're like, people I've watched who've done that in the past, right? I mean, you have Andrade doing it to Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Oh, I just remember that. It just recently happened.
Alberto Del Rio did it to Rey Mysterio, and I consider it like, that's their sacred, that's their persona. Their mask is their character, essentially.
Yeah.
And when you remove that, it's like you remove the individual that you're seeing. But I was unsure how the crowd would react to it, but I thought it was a really good heel kind of move. But
yeah,
I don't think people perceived it like that because they're just excited to see John Moxley and they didn't really care who won because it was just like, I like both guys. If you can start that chant, like.
Yeah, both these guys, I think at one point was part of the crowd chanting it. I thought, honestly, I can get your kind of like why you wouldn't like that. I mean, when I see it happen, sometimes it's kind of like, it was an okay spot. But I think in this particular kind of thing, it was an awesome storytelling for the fact that these guys were just beating the living shit out of each other. I mean, you had Penta go on a good offense at one point, then Moxley goes on a good offense at one point, and it was a kind of a weird stalemate. And that's why I love this part, because it was a good storytelling of Moxley. Like, I got to do whatever I got to do to get this win right now. Because right before he takes the mask off, it's kick blocked on one end, kick blocked on the other end. So I just thought it was a great spot. I mean, Moxley getting the win on that. And then we have, at the end, Pentagon Jr., gets on the mic and says, like, this was a great match. I want to thank you for it, but I want to I think his exact words were, I want a rematch, motherfucker. And then he says, I'll see you in AEW. Of course, Moxley gets on the mic and says, no one talks about mi madre that way. And goes, I will see you in AEW. Just to see this in person was just so awesome. I mean, guys watching at home, you must have been like, oh my God, this is so cool. Being there in person, especially when they came on the outside of the ring into the bleachers and into the crowd, I did not expect that one bit at all. Just, man, what a match. I'm going to go with this match. You know what? I'm going to say this right now. This is a history-making moment for the podcast. I'm going. I see what that face on Skype right now. I'm gonna go with a perfect 100. I'm gonna give this a 5-star classic, whatever you want to call it. I'm giving this the first ever 100 on Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast. Matt, I know you're gonna disagree with me. Let's hear it.
I wouldn't give it 100, but I would say like a good 93.
93. Okay. I'm going full 100. I guess it's just because the element of like me being there. And just
I guess that does. Like in the moment, I was very excited. I'm glad that I'm taller than you, so I was able to see a lot more of the action. But also, because I was recording some of it through my phone, I was able to see it through my phone if I couldn't see 100%.
Yeah.
And no, definitely them going in the crowd. I had to start a turn the lights on chant because they dim the lights when the wrestlers are in the ring.
Yes.
They want you to focus on the ring.
Yeah, which is funny too because at the start of the event, it was when there was the 3-way tag match. They had the lights on. And it was
that turn the lights off chant.
Yeah, it was turn the lights off, and they did, and the New York crowd, of course, pops for that. No, I totally get that. I mean, it was just, what was your kind of highlights of the match? I know I kind of talked a lot about it, but I want to hear your highlights of the match and what you thought were like some of the best spots.
I definitely like them going into the crowd. They made an effort to pretty much go to every portion of the crowd and have some type of bout over there. You know, when they first went in the crowd, they didn't really come by us. They went back into the ring area and did a lot of more work over there. But then they came back into the crowd later. They actually like jumped on like somebody or utilized somebody in the crowd, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And throwing them into the merch table, like all that was happening within like 15 feet of us, which was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And going through a table, or obviously a table, like a couple tables that were broken. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like seeing Jon Moxley in a different setting doing different things that he hasn't been able to do in WWE. I mean, just makes it overall a lot of fun.
Was this your first time seeing the Moxley character?
Yes.
So you must have enjoyed it a lot then, seeing coming, because I had never seen Ambrose live. I never saw him live.
I think the first time I saw Ambrose live was in 2011 at FCW. And I remember his character, he kind of did the same type of character, just like, diluted a little bit. But that's the only person I've known Dean Ambrose as, or Jon Moxley as, is Dean Ambrose, going way back to FCW, which I loved him in FCW. And, he was like this cool, he came out like he didn't give a shit. And, he had a jacket, kind of was like, he was like he was drunk almost. It was just the way his persona was, but this is definitely the first time I've ever seen the Moxley character, and that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I gotta give it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was there, experiencing it live, and just you're in the moment and everything. But I'm gonna go on a perfect 100 score on this, man. It fired on every single cylinder that I was hoping it would fire on, and then more. So you're giving it a 93, you said, Matt?
A-firm.
All right, cool. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I'm going to give this pay-per-view, if we're going to grade it on the letter, I'm going to go a good A-. I'm going to give it like a 92, 91 around there. I mean, it was just a solid, good pay-per-view. And to see it in person and see the New York crowd for the first time, and like I said, you guys were fucking ruthless. It was awesome. We don't get, because in Connecticut up here, we don't get any of that. It's just very just like, ooh, yeah, cool, or like, holy shit once in a while. And you guys are popping for a guy sweeping the fucking ring. It was just like, whoa, this is way different than where I come from. Holy shit. But yeah, I'm gonna scoring the pay-per-view overall with everything. A lot of diversity in this pay-per-view as well. You had just a lot of different kind of characters coming in, especially the AEW guys mixing with the NEW guys, just mixing so well. I mean, they were not like oil and water at all. It was just a perfect blend of everything. So I'm going to give the score of this pay-per-view for NEW's Prison Break a 92, a good A-. Awesome pay-per-view. Matt, how about yourself?
I'm going to go just one letter grade below you with the B+.
B+? Okay. Solid choice. Any reason why B+ instead of an A- compared to mine, that is?
I just think, to be fair, I rated some of the matches just slightly below you. So
yeah, that is true.
Just to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got Matt.
But I would go again. It was worth the 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah, I drove back that night. I was like, dude, I'm so exhausted. I got to go home and get a case of beer and try to wake up and just relive this whole night. It was just awesome. So yeah, guys, I mean, Matt's giving this a B+. I'm giving this an A-. Just overall a great show. And I can't wait to see what NEW is going to do next. I know that they have something August 24th. And then they also have something on September 13th as well. And there's some shows in between. So always go to northeastwrestling.com. You can get tickets, information, where to stream sometimes whenever they do stream. I know they stream this pay-per-view at the same time. And I'm sure they'll release a DVD, which they usually do, which I will definitely be getting to kind of relive that night at the same time. So, yeah, just a good, solid night. I mean, I had some good beer. I know, Matt, you couldn't join us for it because you were still driving. But some good beer at Millhouse Brewing, too, and Buffalo Wings. Like, holy shit, it was so, so, so good. But yeah, we want to thank everyone for listening tonight. This is kind of our mini-sode number 1, if you want to call it that, even though it's not that mini. I think we've hit the hour mark or 55 minutes around there. But kind of a lot shorter than we usually do. You can follow us, of course, on Twitter at HTRW Podcast. We also have a new Instagram that we're going to try to post more and all fun stuff on there. You can follow myself on Instagram and Twitter at Couple of Tatoes. That's Taytos as Tatoes. Matt, where can the people follow you and plug anything you got going on?
You can follow me at yo_Cali.
Yo_Cali. That's for Twitter and Instagram as well. Well, guys, we want to thank you so much. Of course, this week we got Raw coming up. We'll, of course, talk about the NXT announcement that is, reportedly coming tomorrow night. What else do we have coming up? We'll be live streaming our reactions for AEW's All Out in Chicago. I cannot wait for this pay-per-view. Is CM Punk going to show up? Probably not, but I'll kind of keep my hopes up, if anything, on it. We'll be updating, of course, everything we do on Twitter at HTRW Podcast. You can add us, direct message us, ask what's going on. Make sure to interact on our live stream on August 31st. Of course, we'll be reviewing AEW's debut TV in person. Matt and Colin will be representing us there. I'll be at the Boston show. And, of course, we're going to be at the Madison Square Garden show for Raw on September 9th. So, until next time, we'll see you next... Blah, 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 blah. I always mess up at the end, and don't edit this out because I want people to hear me screw up. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, Minnesota 1.